now that you brought it up, do you believe that?
What's that?
That the world wants to see Drake fall?
Yes.
Why?
Because, well, I mean, it depends on who you're talking about. So if you're talking about artists and stuff like that, maybe, I don't know the intel between them. I don't know what, like, I mean, there's obviously a lot more things going on from a deeper aspect that we may not never know.
I'm talking about the people in general.
I think that, like, it's just a common thing, innit? It's like people root for the underdog until you're no longer the underdog anymore. And once you are at the top of it, then there's going to become a thing where people start like preying on your downfall a little bit. Like, I don't want to internalize this too much, yeah? I have an R&B event that's doing all right. And at first, like, the feeling was a certain way until I remember when, like, something happened at one of our events or whatnot, yeah? And then all of a sudden, everyone started to, well, not everyone, loads of people started to, like, have these mad things to say about the brand. And it was, like, really interesting because it's like we'd never felt that before. So I can only imagine that Drake being this guy, like, and he's coming up and whatever, and he's not, at first he's not that much of a threat. Certain man might have been looking at him as, he might be a threat or whatever. Then all of a sudden he's an absolute global superstar. He's doing everything. He has access to a lot of different things, a lot of access to women. He can do things. He probably also has a privilege as well that some people may feel uncomfortable about. And now it's like, well, how long are you going to be here? There.
Okay.
So with that being said, it's so naive to be in that place and park all of that aside and just be outside and not be thinking about that. Like, if it's not Kendrick, it's going to be somebody else. And if it's not Metro, if it's not Future, it's gonna be somebody else. Someone is going to have. Pusha is a great example. Could you imagine, by the way, yeah? Obviously, the way that Pusha did that, if Pusha didn't have that situation might have looked a little bit different. But it's like, imagine that situation didn't happen and it was Kendrick that actually gave that information today. Do you know what that would look like? Even more so. Yeah. Even more so. It would look even more crazy, bro.
Listen, anyway. I agree with you. I think a lot of people, and I just wanted to hear your opinion on that as well. I think this beef and watching how people online have been moving during this beef, right, has shown me something much bigger than this battle, bro, and this beef. There are a lot of people out there that really do not like Drake, bro. I've seen it now. A lot of people don't like Drake. And I think it's bigger than, like what you said, just being at the top of rap. I think it's what he represents, being a Canadian from a middle-class family. So Canada is not really known as the hip-hop capital, is it? They're known as outsiders, Canadians. Like, just forget, even take music away. Just in America, where hip-hop is from, Americans don't really rate Canadians like that. No. Do you get what I'm saying? They see them as, like, the little adopted brother or someone. Like, they don't really rate them like that, right? But then you've got someone that's from Canada, and it isn't even from the hood in Canada, like Tory Lanez is. Yeah. From middle class, that has come over here and has dominated for this long, bro. Yeah. Dominated for this long. And has aligned himself with so many people within America. People in New York, whether it's Dipset or whoever it happens to be. Loads of artists from Atlanta. Artists on the West Coast like YG in The Game. He's just associated himself with so many people. And we can get to the UK part of it, because I've seen that been cropping up as well. People don't like that. Hip-hop is from America. Hip-hop was birthed in the Bronx in New York. They never ever liked the idea of a Canadian middle-class brother being at the top of rap. That was never the script, bro, for hip-hop, right? And
No, it wasn't.
It never was.
No.
And the reason he got away with it for so long was because the product, no matter how you felt about Drake, was good.
100.
If someone is giving you the product, so it's in the clubs, bangers.
Yeah.
In your car, bangers. Whatever it happens to be, as long as the product is good, despite how we feel about you, whatever, the product's good. It doesn't matter whether you like me or not. The problem is the product started to slip.
Right.
And the last 3-4 years, he wasn't delivering the product that he was delivering in the past. The quality threshold of his music slipped. The quality threshold of his album slipped. He was giving us moments because he's Drake and he's that talented. But on the whole, it was slipping. And then on top of that, you are getting older. And we can see you getting older because you've been around for ages. But we see you still trying to remain relevant with Gen Z and not come into that adult growth. And pair that with the fact that the music isn't even at the quality that it should be, people have no reason to stick around no more, bro, and back 100%. You, unfortunately. That's just what it is. Do you get what I'm saying?
100%.
And that's what I've seen happen with Drake now. People have been wanting to get rid of him for time. Back to when me and Snips had those debates on Jump Off. Snips didn't like him from the beginning because he didn't represent what hip-hop is.
Yeah.
He is a child of Kanye. Kanye created loads of these guys. Lupe Fiasco, him, Kid Cudi, these guys that weren't the quintessential rapper. Do you get what I'm saying? The guys that didn't really come from the street. Guys that were quite emo and would speak about their emotions and women. That wasn't hip-hop before. If you were speaking about women, you would speak about them in a certain way. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? And you might give one track where you're in love, but yeah, we leave that for Mario and Lloyd and them, man. Do you know what I mean? Over here, it's a bit different.
LL Cool J can get a little
dry. Over here, it's like 50 Cent. I'm a PIMP. Like, this is how we were really talking about them. But my point is, Ross, that's my bum. In case I got too carried away.
I didn't know you had that for like.
But no, I got serious. That's my. But my point is this, bro. Drake. People wanted Drake to fall for time, and I think Kendrick Lamar was the perfect opponent because he represented everything Drake wasn't
100.
To them in hip hop, right? And this ain't about race. Everyone's been making this about race. I've been seeing this stuff popping up and all of that. Like, I'm not interested in that. Even what Kendrick said. Like, I could see, as someone that is mixed race, that he wasn't talking about Drake's skin color. He was talking about culturally where Drake is from and the fact that he doesn't really speak up for the culture in that way. Do you get what I'm saying? I could see where Kendrick was coming from with that.
I mean, also, he just put a spotlight on what Drake's come up looks like.
Yeah.
More so than anything. Because then that was something that started to come up a little bit. It's like, you know, there's a whole bunch of videos and him talking about, and you could just see that Drake didn't come from that.
Yeah.
And that's what Kendrick put a spotlight on.
But all of this